welcome everyone to another broadcast of The Soul of the Everyman on the Artist First Radio Network. All past broadcasts are podcasts. Pick them up at artistfirst.com. We do welcome your questions and comments. Hit us up at dj@artistfirst.com. And now, here are your hosts, Michael and Margaret Lyons.
And thank you very much, Z-Man. And I am Michael Lyons.
Mm-hmm. And I'm Margaret.
And this is our special Back from Vacation episode.
Okay.
Did you miss us?
Oh, my.
And things are stupid out there.
Oh, well, yeah.
Let's go. So we've come with reports from the front.
Yeah.
It's not going well. It's not going well. But you know,
when people are on vacation,
mm-hmm.
especially if they've been on the beach for a week,
yep,
we usually call it beach brain.
Beach brain, not to be confused with not beach brain. Be very careful. There are words that you can't. There are 7 deadly words you can't say on the radio. Luckily, this is not the radio. We can say all those words.
Well, all right.
Right, Scott? But that, when you say things like, I'm not even going to say the things we can't say. But anyway, so the things are getting stupid out there, and so we decided that this was a wonderful opportunity to do a show, sort of a reprise, because we did a show maybe over a year ago back on stupidity.
Well, what triggered it all? Mm-hmm.
What did trigger it all?
That.
Oh, that. Yes, that did trigger it all. So we will read what triggered it all in just a minute. But I think that the service we do today, no greater service can we do than the service we do today to expose the stupid out there. So anyway, the thing that started it all off was a beautiful quote that just popped up. The universe gave us a quote to talk about tonight. And it goes like this. It says, do you remember before the Internet?
Before the Internet.
Before the Internet, BI, we call that. People thought that the cause of stupidity was the lack of access to information. And you know what? It turns out that wasn't it. That was not it. Because today, arguably, every living person on the planet, nearly, has the whole collected opus, the whole collected magnum opus of the sum total of human information, can't speak, at their fingertips. And yet, stupidity still reigns.
And you know what's interesting is it almost seems like stupidity has risen since cell phones have become abundant.
That's possible, and I think you could also say that stupidity is an entity and an end unto itself. It takes care of its own. The stupid are remarkably resilient. There's very little you can do that will cure that. But yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about stupidity tonight, and we're also going to bring in a very interesting reference. We're not going to just rely on our own experiences with stupidity, and we could have the audience call in. But there's a very nice article, which we may give a link to at some point, by a psychologist called Kippola or Cipolla, I'm not sure. I think we referenced him last time a little bit. And he has the 5, what was it, Margaret?
Oh, he has 5 basic laws of human stupidity.
Yes, there are laws. If you didn't know, there are laws.
This is not a theory.
This is not a theory.
Where it's questionable.
Yeah.
Laws basically have been proven over and over and over again.
Physical law. This is a physical law. This is like gravity. The laws of stupidity. So we're going to go through the laws of stupidity, but we just thought we would open up with the fact that the internet has not helped, and that information doesn't really help either, because the basic interface of stupidity used to be something we used to refer to, Margaret, in IT, in information technology, when you would come up and you want to help somebody and they're having a problem with their computer, and you would log what the problem was. Okay, so you would log the problem down. You would say PBKC would be the name of the problem. You just put that down in your logbook, and you would walk away. And what that stood for was problem between keyboard and chair.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what sits between the keyboard and the chair is generally the user. So that the user is the interface that defeats all information. The access is there, but unlike the stadium in the Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will not come. They will not come. There is all the information in the world, and it's just people will just not use it, or they will abuse it, as you mentioned earlier. And I think as stupidity has acquired its own sort of artificial. It's not really artificial intelligence, artificial idiocy, AI. So artificial idiocy has risen to amazing heights, so that people, regardless of the amount of information you give them, will find a way to screw it up.
Well, I think these laws are based on assumptions that humans do.
Yeah, we can go through them.
Yes, but I mean, just in general, it seems to be assumptions or broad judgment calls that most of us make, and we don't realize the extent of the chaos that can occur with these broad judgment calls.
Exactly. So, sort of allegorically, if you will, we're all, as we go through our lives, we make an assumption that we are, and this is an egoic assumption, that we are right, that we are the ones who are not stupid. And it turns out that's not a good assumption. So this isn't even one of the 5 laws. I'm just going to go off on a little riff of my own. One of the things that if you acquire wisdom over the course of your life, one thing that you should kind of come to as a conclusion, if you haven't already, is that you should realize that you don't know everything, and that in basically, let's say, unless you're a specialist, in basically 99.9% of human experience, what you know compared to what you don't know is vanishingly small. Okay,
sure.
So the relationship of I know this to all the I don't know this basically makes every one of us, and I say this including myself, into a functional stupidity generating machine. You are stupid. And you have to embrace that.
Embrace the stupid
embrace
within.
the stupid. And it's not. And this sounds a little. It sounds a little insulting, but you have to go with it. One thing that is, and this is not one of the laws, or maybe it is, but one of the things that people assume is that they are not stupid, that everybody else is. And if you use that as a logical test, when you say to yourself that everybody else and everything else in the world is stupid, but not me, you put yourself in the category of a unique thing, okay? And then what we do in mathematics, even though it's stupid and I'm not very good with mathematics, what we do in mathematics is we apply a test to that. We say, okay, what are the odds that I am the only smart person in the world? Well, it turns out, if you think of it that way, you say, well, those could be low. Like, maybe that's like 1 in 100 that I'm the only. No, it's more like 1 in 7 or 8 billion or more.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very tiny number. It's a tiny, tiny number. It's like you have $1 and the other guy has $7 or $8 billion. You would say, well, I don't have any money.
It's like winning the lottery.
It's like winning. It's actually of that order of magnitude in any case.
Yes.
So if embracing the stupid really means to say that in any particular situation, when you approach a situation, the assumption that you know the answer or that you are the expert is a bad one. Is sort of categorically bad or a priori bad. the assumption that you walk into a situation and here's the healthy one. I don't know what's going on. I'm probably not the expert. Maybe I should ask for directions. This is a guy thing. I should ask. No, never ask for directions, because then, people will tell you. That's terrible. But the embracement of stupid is really to embrace the fact that the ego wants to tell you that you are the smart one, that you know, and everybody else doesn't. You have to walk away from it. You have to be the humility of stupidity is a very good thing to embrace. But I don't want to take away from Kippela's laws. Let's go through his a little bit. But I think, but keep in your back of your mind, the embrace, become one with grok your stupidity, and say, yeah, man, that's me right there.
Mm-hmm.
S for stupid. Okay, so go ahead. Let's start from the top.
Alrighty. The first law of Kippela: always and inevitably, each of us underestimates the number of stupid individuals in the world.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of a little bit of a corollary to what I was saying, but I this is a good one.
Yes.
Because I think he did some empirical tests. I think he actually went through and surveyed people and say, well, how many people do you think in this room are stupid, or how many people do you think in your college campus or whatever are stupid? And invariably people, and this is sort of the assumption of, well, I'm not stupid, so probably everybody else is there's probably one or two, really stupid people out there, but everybody else is, pretty much average and normal. And Kippela turned out that is a gross overestimation of the humanity, of the technical competence of humanity.
Right. No, or an underestimation.
Right. Underestimation of the degree to which stupidity and the corollary, not the corollary, but the thing that people confuse often when they're having interactions, and we've talked about this in other Souls of the Everyman, is people confuse mendacity or intent with stupidity. And the way they do that is, something goes wrong, and you immediately find someone, the ego immediately finds someone to blame, and then assigns a detailed and malicious motive and great detailed plans, and how they meant to do this, and they planned this, and they got it all lined up, and they made sure that I was here, and then they pulled the rug out from under me and made me look bad, and this whole detailed plan about how they were just these evil geniuses to trick me, And it turns out that the stupid need none of that.
You don't.
That you can do all kinds of damage with completely no planning whatsoever. The really stupid people are good at it. They don't. It doesn't take any amount of planning, and there's no mendacity. There's no intent. People aren't planning to do bad things. Bad things sometimes just happen, and those people happen to be in the agencies of the bad thing, or the agency, the motive behind much offense is literally stupidity. There's no motive. Mm-hmm. People just do stupid things and offend you, and they have no clue. The other kind of leg on this stool of stupidity is that the stupid have no clue, no clue whatsoever that they are offending, or that they are appearing to be these evil geniuses. No, that is not what they are trying to do. They are just literally, it's like, there's just a flat line there, and the stupid coefficient increases to such stupefying heights that all kinds of bad things happen. And they're not trying to get you. They're not trying to offend you. They're not trying to plan for your embarrassment or any of the other things that just happened to you. They're literally just stupid things in the wake, like the roiling.
Well, the interesting part about it is that most stupid actions have no consideration for anyone or anything at all. There's no thought involved. Just, I think the person who's acting in this stupid manner is just doing what he thinks, yeah, this seems right now. No consideration. I'm just going to do this. I'm impulsed to do this. Why? He doesn't even know why he's impulsed to do this.
Exactly so.
He just goes and does it. So, kind of fascinating.
And
actually.
they're not planning out what's going to happen next and what's going to happen next
not.
and the consequences.
What happens next means that you're thinking about the problem. And I think we said it before. There is no thought involved.
Right. Which is why it's so darn difficult to outwit the stupid.
because there's
no battle of wits here. You are witting along. You are taking out your wit rapier. You are waving around the air, and they're like, "Ow! Stop doing that! Stop poking me! Oh, and they're winning, and they're winning. And this, you're slashing around and parrying and thrusting and doing, and they're like, yeah, whatever. Okay, you lose.
It's arguing with the witless.
Arguing with the witless. You come in, they are unarmed, and you lose.
Well, if someone doesn't understand the argument you're presenting, because they're really not thinking about anything,
right?
It's a moot point.
Right.
It just takes the whole floor out from underneath you. There's nothing to stand on. They're just going to be happily doing whatever it is they feel impulsed to do.
You're making this brilliant logical argument. Every piece of it hangs together. It's seamless. It's airtight. And they go, I don't know, wood. Stuff, peanut butter, whatever, and you're like, I just lost. I'm not sure how exactly, but they completely evade your argument, but they go into the sub-ether. They go into the stupid zone and just right around it like it's like warp speed. Woof.
And usually it is. I don't know. I'm hungry though. I want to go eat something. And the way often the stupid win arguments is by ignoring all that and just doing it anyway. There's no thought. Again,
right.
This is where this baseline. There's no thought involved whatsoever.
Right.
There is no malicious thought. There's no beneficial thought. It's just no thought. They're just moving along, doing stuff. I mean, let's face it. We know pets that have much more thought sometimes than some humans. So
we mentioned the internet too earlier. I mean, one of the things people do is they attempt to argue with people on the internet, and you may notice that the stupid win these arguments. You bring up all these references, and you bring up all the sauce or whatever. You have 500 websites all pointing, and every one of these is supporting your point. And they just say, nope, I don't get it anyway, the things and the stuff, and I'm going to go do it regardless, and I don't care, you're an idiot. And they just move on.
It doesn't matter to them.
And you do not win that argument.
Well, it would be good if you could learn not to argue with the stupid.
Now we're approaching wisdom. Do not argue with the stupid. It could be one of the aphorisms that we could put at the end of this.
That's a T-shirt.
That's a T-shirt.
Do not argue.
Right, because you will lose.
Yes.
So anyway, I don't want to go just on the one. What's the next law of
The second law is the probability that a certain person is stupid is independent of any other characteristic of that same person. In other words, people are always looked at stupidity as, like having blonde hair or an eye color or a certain height. It's just a characteristic that a person has.
And it breeds true. In other words, stupid people are related to stupid people. What Margaret basically said, though, is exactly so. You cannot look at some individual and people do this all the time, though. You look at somebody and you say, oh, that person's smart. I can tell. Or that person's stupid. I can tell. And right there, as you do that, you're acting stupidly, of course. But there's no correlated characteristic of stupidity. Short people aren't stupid. Tall people aren't stupid. Blonde people aren't stupid. It's its own independent trait. So extremely. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
There was a study on level of stupidity that he was quoting, and it's 4 large strata that make up universities, as he calls it. Beadles, employees, students, and teachers.
What was the first one?
It says Beadles.
Beadles.
Yeah, Beadles.
Oh, like a beetle. Okay, I know what this. Yes, he's English, I bet.
Yes.
Okay.
And in this analysis, he found the distribution of stupidity was uniform
among all.
Among it all, no matter how much or whatever your education level is, the stupidity level was the same all the way through. So it's not a function of education, not a function of strata.
Right, social strata,
or how much money you may actually be
or your access to information, which we mentioned earlier.
And this is the latest one: is the access to information, which is universal at this point.
Right. So the corollary, the very interesting corollary is you cannot educate yourself out of stupid. You can't.
Oh my.
Okay, in other words, you can't.
It's a trait.
You can't educate yourself out of your blonde hair. You can't educate yourself out of your height. And you can't educate yourself or in any way change the fact that you're stupid. Now, that sounds gosh, that can't be true. It can't be true because, if obviously, if you teach somebody something, they'll learn it. No, the stupid don't learn these things. If you try to, and again, the thing I first started, we're all stupid. You have to embrace the stupidity. So I'm not talking about everybody else but me. I'm saying in general.
Just if you realize that stupid is actually a human trait.
It's a trait.
And everyone has the capacity for stupid.
Well, I think even Kipple is even going a little further. He's saying that everyone falls somewhere on the stupid scale.
The stupid scale. Where are you on the
and
stupid
it's a
scale?
Uniform distribution. So,
oh my.
When you talk about uniform distributions, the best way to talk about them is if you have a whole class of students and you have enough students and everyone takes a test and everyone's had the same preparation, you're going to have what's called a normal distribution. What that means is that you're going to have a few A's and a few F's and then a few more C's and a few more D's and then a few more D's and whatever. You have to break it up, but the majority will be right around the middle. The biggest part of that set will be in the middle of the curve. Okay, so if you look at Beadles, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're like the what we would call deans and faculty and that sort of things. But in other words, so in the university, which is he's I guess using it as a microcosm of society, which arguably could be wrong, but let's just say that it is.
Yeah, he was teaching at Berkeley and at what's the other one?
Cambridge or something, I'll bet.
Universities of Pavia. In Berkeley.
Wherever that is. But anyway, if you basically looking at the university as the universe, you have a normal distribution. So the large part of people are somewhere in the middle. You have a few that are smart and a few that are very stupid. But everyone on that scale falls somewhere in there. There isn't a group which is predominantly smart. Okay, so no particular group can be said. If you educate them enough, everyone's smart. No, so you can't unblonde the population with books. You can't make everyone tall by telling them that they are.
Well, it's very interesting if you think of it. You can't stratify people because trying to isolate the quality or trait of stupid.
Right.
Trying to almost get rid of it through natural selection. It's just not going to happen.
Which is a great point. Through millions of years of natural selection, stupidity has come through. Yet
it continues.
It continues. So that's a great trait. In other words, there's no. Okay, so natural selection favors those who survive.
Right.
But what that means is that stupidity is not necessarily fatal to you. It may be fatal to everybody else, but somehow you get through. So there's
not fatal to the stupid.
It's not fatal. The stupid are immune, which is even better. So embrace the stupid, because that way you're going to get through. You're going to survive. If you try to be too smart, the stupid will kill you and not even realize that they have.
That's right.
Oh my God, he's dead. He's dead, Jim. No, I mean, so whoops. But then then the next generation they survive. So stupidity is not fatal immediately to the stupid. Right? So this is
fascinating.
That's a nugget that's come out. That's a lovely nugget to come out of this. Is that stupidity is not immediately locally fatal. It's fatal at a distance. Slight distance from you.
It's interesting,
like your spouse.
What?
No, you survive, but your immediate people nearby you.
You're in danger, aren't you?
Yes.
I'm looking at it in terms of the strata that different cultures have imposed on their societies. Like in India, you have your caste system, and if you take as a premise that the stupidity rate is the same all the way through the 5 castes. Why produce the castes then?
Well, yeah.
I mean, you're not trying to get rid of stupid, which frankly probably should be one of the highest endeavors humanity should aim for.
And arguably, that's what people always say. We're trying, millions and billions and trillions maybe have been spent in the name of increasing awareness or disseminating information or educating the populace, and yet stupidity still continues at the same basic rate.
As it always has been.
So
isn't that interesting, though?
Yes.
Because you kind of look at that as just like the law of entropy.
Right. There's an arrow of S.
Yes.
The arrow of entropy. So
the arrow.
So
of
the universe evolves to greater and greater levels of stupidity. Hopefully not.
No, it's trying to equalize everything. That's the point.
So this is Brownian stupidity.
Yes.
Oh, kind of like that. Making sure that some level of stupidity reaches every corner of the universe before the heat death.
I don't think there is a heat death.
The heat death of stupidity. So let's go to the next law, because we're just having way too much fun with this.
Oh, it's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
You think about it. I mean, seriously, I never really thought of it in terms of a trait that can be passed down and manipulated in some way. But again, can you improve? Most of us believe we can improve on stupidity.
Which obviously is a fallacy.
Well, other people's stupidity, yes.
It's a comfortable lie.
There's the premise again that you always believe that you're not the stupid. Now, okay, so we have to go into understanding that stupidity is a human trait.
And it defies eradication.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
So what you said it before. If the goal of humanity has been to eradicate stupidity, we have failed in a spectacular manner to do that.
We are embracing more and more stupidity, and again, with the access to the internet and all the phones and screens that are available to people, we are not eradicating stupidity.
Yeah. If anything, as you said, we may in fact be encouraging it at some level.
Yes, because there's a laziness in the human mind where, the baseline is it's got to be somebody else's fault. It's never mine.
Right.
And I can't, I'm the smart one and those other people are stupid. It's like you start there and you realize it's an exceedingly low bar. Very low.
Yeah, and I just not to belabor the point, but in fact, the more you might say that the more access to information, the arguably harder it is to be stupid. But in fact, it appears to be the opposite. It appears that it's even easier to be stupid because if you are lazy, or if you just say to yourself, well, I'm not going to try and work and think this up and see if it's true, you just accept what comes in, sort of uncritically, you're guaranteed to get in a bunch of stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you act upon it, you're acting stupidly. And we all know that you're still going to survive, that everyone else around you may die, but you're going to be fine because stupidity has not caused, over the millions of years of evolution, we have not evolved our way away from stupidity.
Well, you know what?
And arguably we're evolving towards it.
It makes you wonder that all the other previous civilizations,
Yeah.
what actually brought them down?
I would say stupidity. I'd say it's a superpower of sorts.
No, seriously, you think about that. It's like how many civilizations, there were many civilizations that suddenly came to an end.
Yeah.
And most people are thinking, it's like climate change or something apocalyptic. And I'm sitting here going, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I
It
don't
appears
think so.
It appears not. It appears that our true enemy is us,
Yes.
as Pogo would say.
Okay.
Go ahead. Moving on.
All right, the third law. A stupid person is one who causes harm to another person or group without, at the same time, obtaining a benefit for himself or even damaging himself.
Or even call it, in other words, no benefit and potentially damage.
Right.
Right. So and I think the part that Kippola perhaps left out because he was being charitable was and doesn't realize it.
Well, no, that's exactly what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's damaging himself. Basically, he's saying it's a lack of relational intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And you sit there and you go, because if you start a relationship, if you really can be active in something like that, it usually means that there's a benefit to you or the other, or to both of you. But if you don't understand a relationship, then you wind up causing harm to yourself or the other or both. And that's the definition of a stupid person for Kippola.
And as we just said, the damage done, and this can be extracted again from this sort of the idea that stupidity hasn't evolved out of the population, is that the damage done by a stupid person to themselves is always less than the damage done to others. In other words, if you do something stupid and you don't die, you get to carry on. You get to carry on your genes. So if every person who did something stupid immediately died, it sounds terrible, but let's say you do a stupid thing, you're dead. Well, we would evolve out of stupidity eventually. It would take a long time, many deaths.
I don't know if anybody would be around at that point.
There might be just one or two,
I honestly, that's like, it's dangerous.
Maybe that's why. It's because that's too rigorous. But even if there was just enough of a difference, so that if the opposite equation was true, if the amount of damage done to the individual was always greater than the amount of damage done to others, that over time, given hundreds of thousands, millions of years, many generations, the stupid would eventually die out because they would be doing overall arguably more damage to themselves than others. But that's not the case. That's not the case at all. The case is that stupidity continues, and what Margaret just said is that and this goes back to one of our earlier points about the mendacity. When somebody does something which offends you, or appears to be done with intent to harm you, they're doing this to hurt me. They're doing this on purpose. And in fact, that assumption is, Kippola has said, is incorrect.
Right,
they're not doing it to hurt you.
Well,
they're not doing it with intent.
Right.
They're just doing it and have no idea that they're hurting you. And they may in fact be hurting themselves even, but they don't have that.
It's a relationship intelligence.
Right.
That is lacking.
Right.
If you believe that someone's doing it to harm you, you believe you have some kind of relationship going on between the two of you. And that's giving the other person far more intelligence than is actually being
too much
acted upon.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a quote here from Kippola, which I think is quite interesting. Quote, "There are people who, with their unlikely actions, not only cause harm to other people, but also to themselves. These people belong to the super stupid genre."
SS.
Close quote.
Close quote. Super stupid. I kind of like that.
Well,
but I like what you said earlier. Even Kippola's the relationship, the lack of relational intelligence, or the lack of a relational awareness, really comes. It fundamentally means that causality is immaterial to the stupid. When you do an action, if you're considering beforehand what might possibly happen. If I do this, I might get burned, or if I do this, I might lose money, or if I do this, what X, Y, Z. So there's some consideration of, or if I say this to this person, maybe they'll be offended, or maybe I'll make them feel bad or cry or whatever. Who knows what it is? So there's some consideration. So the C factor, the consideration factor, is overwhelmed by the S factor. There's no consideration in doing a stupid act. In fact, it's sort of the definition of stupidity is to do something without thought for the consequences, without any consideration. We call people who are acting stupidly inconsiderate. Well, in fact, it's even worse than that. There is a negative or a vacuum of consideration. There's no pre-thought at all. The action is just taken somewhat randomly. So maybe that's, Margaret, maybe that's something we can think. Stupidity may be a basic property of the universe in the sense that when you do something stupid, you do something without consideration, you're acting thoughtlessly, unconsciously. You're in an unconscious mode. No consideration, no thought of consequences for the individual or others, no relational intelligence whatsoever. And in that way, you're acting, in essence, as part of the creation, sort of a random particle in the universe, just bumping into things and causing harm to yourself potentially, to others potentially. But it's an unconscious state now, isn't it?
Well, it's, again, the law of entropy.
It's an entropic state.
Yes.
Stupidity may be ineradicable because it literally is a component of entropy.
Okay, can you state the law of entropy so people will understand what we're talking about?
Succinctly stated, entropy, the law of entropy states that a system will always move towards a lower energy state. What does that mean? When you put a hot cup of coffee on the table, it gets cooler because the energy which is concentrated in the cup of coffee wants to get to a lower energy state, which means it wants to cool off, which is the lower energy, and kind of heat up the atmosphere. Everything around it gets a little hotter. But the whole universe is moving this. The whole universe is one giant cup of cooling coffee. And so as we all cool off slowly, it's very, very slowly, but still, every moment things are getting into a lower energy state. Now, there are local exceptions. You can heat up your cup of coffee, but overall, the whole universe got cooler somehow. Some level of energy, some level of energy went down. Altogether went down. So if stupidity is a component of entropy, it's actually literally uneradicatable because stupid actions cool off the universe, basically.
Pretty much. I mean, you know how many people are they say enlightenment, they're going after enlightenment.
Yeah.
Which pretty much means it's a high energy state.
True.
But we are living in a world where entropy is the basic law.
Yes.
So if you realize that everything is trying to take away your energy or your light.
And you can feel it sometimes.
And you can perceive it.
Yes.
If you understand that is the way that things go in this world, then you have half a chance of being able to adapt.
Interesting what you just said is that as you move towards an enlightened state, you have to withdraw. You have to accept that the world is a stupid place and withdraw from it. And when you transition away from it. So this place that we all come to, this dream of a common dream, is a stupid place where we have to learn to withdraw from, to learn to deal with entropy or stupidity. The SS, the super stupid, are our best teachers.
They are your teachers.
They are our teachers.
They are your teachers because it shows you that you don't want to stay in a stupid state.
Right.
Which kind of means that you have to move out of this whole idea that you are the only intelligent one in this whole crew.
Yes, and that's extremely important because when you feel that way, you're fighting against reality. And you mustn't fight against reality. You have to embrace it. You have to say that yes, this is reality. Reality is stupid. And you have to embrace that.
I kind of think of it, when if you're thinking in terms of equating stupidity with entropy.
With entropy, that's a tough one.
That's a tough one, but I'm thinking now add in the
explains a lot though.
Yeah. Add in the concept that our brains are actually quantum based.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for all that to happen, you're going to have a level of consideration, activity, brain function. You can't do flatline.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Maybe that's what Christ meant by, do you not know that you are not of this world, but of the Spirit?
Also, the phrase, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do.
They know nothing.
They know nothing. So stupidity's been around for quite some time.
Well, it's very interesting because you're looking at it in terms of everything is trying to take away your energy, your light, everything.
Light.
It doesn't want you to think too much. It doesn't want you to expend a lot of energy. It doesn't want you to... It would be happy at just this sort of low light level. We want everybody to be at this low light level. And it's not because the universe wants to control you, okay? Mm-hmm. It's just, this is sort of how do I put it? Just a field of operation, how we function in this particular time and space. Entropy is real, and stupidity turns out to be real.
You know, the other thing, Margaret, is stupidity is often the path of least resistance.
Yes. Which
is, again, the entropic path.
Yeah, the path of least resistance, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it involves no thinking whatsoever.
Right.
So anything that involves absolutely no thinking or consideration is classified as to put it kindly, it would be the unenlightened path, but the way we're talking, it's the stupid path.
I mean, the word language always informs. When we say something, you acted thoughtlessly. You know, it acted inconsiderately. These are all words which reflect stupidity, but characterize it in essence of you could have thought, you could have enlightened yourself, you could have, but in truth, the stupid don't even consider the possibility of enlightenment as a goal. They just act on the path of least resistance, and it isn't mendacious. It isn't carefully plotted out. It just happens. You know?
If you go into the gamer vernacular, what is that called when there's characters in the game?
The NPCs.
Yeah, the NPCs.
The non-player characters.
Yeah. The stupid are the NPCs of this particular creation.
It's very interesting because the NPCs are they have no role. They have no creative role. They just have a sometimes active role to kind of move the game forward, but nothing more than that. So they're very one-dimensional. An NPC is a very one-dimensional character. It's really just there to do one thing, and oftentimes a stupid thing.
Well, they're there to be stupid.
To be stupid.
No, that's an interesting thought, that
right.
they're actually part of the creation of this particular reality.
Right. You know, with a limited amount of actions, but no actual, actually no free will. So free will is antithetical to stupidity.
Well, see, that's the other interesting thing. The NPCs actually have the potential to become real people.
In this reality.
If they so choose.
Right.
They have to choose through their free will if they're going to enter into relationship with themselves and everyone else.
Yes.
And everything else in this universe. Even though you might have a trait of stupidity, it doesn't mean that you are stupid.
Because you can choose not to be.
You can choose outside of that. Very interesting.
Well, and another sort of finer point, just to put a finer point on it, that choice is in and of itself an anti-entropic action.
Right.
Why? Because when you choose, you discriminate, and you oftentimes can create order. Okay. One of the other characteristics of entropy is that disorder grows in every system. So
right.
Things become more disordered. If an ordered thing means it's all clumped together in a ball, and entropy makes it unclump into a nothing, into a gas. It spreads out in all directions. So choice is clumping things. It's saying this, not that. And it's ordering things, saying here, not there.
Right.
So choice by its very nature, free will by its very nature, is anti-entropic, locally anti-entropic. The whole universe still overall gets more entropy. That's inescapable. So the stupidity remains. But you can choose not to be in that moment of now. So in the moment of now, you have an anti-entropic choice through the agency of your free will to be less stupid. This is an important thing.
And
keep an eye on that one.
And you get that opportunity every moment of your existence.
Every moment of now, yes. Very, very good. Like that.
Okay, 4.
This is only 4 people.
Yeah, 4. Non-stupid people always underestimate the harmful potential of stupid people.
Yeah. You say, they're stupid. How much damage could they do? Infinite amounts of damage. There's no limit to the damage that can be done by the stupid.
Okay, the quote from Chippewa is, "Stupid people are dangerous and unfortunate because reasonable people find it difficult to imagine and understand a stupid behavior. The question, we always ask the question, why would you do that?
Why would you do that? Yeah, I know, Mark, it's part of what I do. This is just a little inside baseball. Part of what I do is testing things, testing software. It's not the only thing I do, but it's one of the things I do. And so when you're testing software, you're trying to imagine what people would do possibly to break it. And what I've found over the years and over the many decades is no matter how much you test a piece of software, the stupid will find a way to break it. And break it sometimes irreparably. Irreparably break it. And you've tried every possible use case, but you've not done one thing. The thing that you have not done is you weren't able to imagine how stupidly somebody could act with this thing. And so this is why you find over many, many products these ridiculously long warning labels. Do not eat.
Mm-hmm.
Do not use as shampoo.
Mm-hmm.
Do not insert into any orifice.
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. Because over the years, with the interaction with the stupid,
warning labels would be a very interesting way to explore the level of stupidity
exactly.
that humanity has done.
Yes.
You just listing all the warning labels. It's just, you say,
when
wow.
if you ever read them, sometimes you have to read through them, and you're reading through and you're going, wow. So the reason that somebody wrote this is that this happened at some point. Somebody tried to use this as a swing, and it didn't go well.
Right. Well, it's just like that typical where you see all these warning labels on the coffee cups.
Yeah.
Hot. This is hot.
Hot.
And that's a result of the fact that some lady, because she burned herself, sued like McDonald's or something.
But even that whatever, and people will say, oh, that was really over. It doesn't really matter. Every warning you'll find on a product today is because somehow, somewhere, somebody did that thing and bad things happened. And this is not an argument against that, because protecting the consumer is a good thing, and you don't want people getting shocked or burned or killed by accident, because accidents happen. But the point is that in the universe of things that you would consider you might do with a particular product or a piece of software, there is a much greater, vaster, maybe close to infinite amount of things that people will do that you hadn't considered.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're sitting there and trying to think your way, trying to, well, no one would ever do this and this and then this and then this. In fact, you never even followed that path, because reasonably you would say, well, the button's right there. It says press me. So you press the button and things happen. Well, in fact, somebody ignores all that. Says, I like blue things. I'm going to press the blue thing. Boom. Oh, my God, don't press the blue thing. Nobody's supposed to press the blue thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the blue thing causes instant death to everyone around them but them, because they survive to do the next generation of stupid. But that's the key here, is that there's no amount of thought that can eradicate stupid, because it's got a component of incredibly sophisticated randomness.
Okay. Let's hit the fifth one.
Yes, let's do that.
The stupid person is the most dangerous person that exists.
We've been leading up to this one.
Okay, let me just read this. It's a bit long, but I think it's quite cogent. All human beings are included in 4 fundamental categories: the naive, the intelligent. What's going on?
Go.
Okay. 4 categories: the naive, the intelligent, the evil, and the stupid. The intelligent person knows that he's intelligent. The evil one is aware to be evil. The naive is painfully imbued with the sense of his own candor. Unlike all these characteristics, the stupid doesn't know to be stupid. This contributes to give greater strength, incidence, and effectiveness to his devastating action.
Devastating.
The stupid is not inhibited by self-consciousness. And this is Chippewa.
Yes. And the last point you just made, could you repeat that? That's very important. The stupid is not.
Okay. The stupid is not inhibited by self-consciousness.
You could even put a period. The stupid is not inhibited by anything.
Well, he's talking about the 4 categories in general that people fit into.
Yes.
And it's the naive, the intelligent, the evil, and the stupid.
Right. And each one of the other 3 has certain inhibitions.
Well, they're aware.
They're aware. But the stupid are completely uninhibited. And the reason being that they are so is that there is no reason. There's inhibition means that you've taken something into consideration. I might get hurt. This could cost me money. I might hurt someone's feelings. All these things. True stupidity has a 0 component of relational intelligence. There's no consequences thought of, considered, wondered about, nothing. It literally is the path of least resistance with no consideration. It almost is a random act, but it's not quite random. It's an act which is fulfilling the stupid coefficient of the universe. It's not quite random, but it's very entropic.
And well, at the very end here, they give 3 causes of human stupidity. And I'll go through them very quickly.
Right.
1, ignorance or overconfidence. 2, lack of control. 3, distraction.
I like that he put ignorance or overconfidence, but I would even separate those 2 because they are different. And overconfidence is a biggie, because one of the things people do all the time, and you mentioned this earlier, is they underestimate their own stupidity or overestimate their own competence. So the self-confidence, I can do it. I can do anything I want to do. If I try hard enough, I can do it. No, you can't. And you're acting stupidly, and you're going to hurt other people, and you're going to survive.
Right.
So that you could pass your genes on to an overconfident, stupid second generation.
Well, it's the habit. It's habits of thinking.
Yeah.
If you are taught not to investigate things and to stay ignorant, and be confident in the fact that you are ignorant and proud of it.
Proud of it.
You can be taught to be ignorant and proud of it.
Right. Right.
And then lack of control, he considers that a medium degree of stupidity. Ignorance and overconfidence is the highest degree.
Highest degrees of stupidity. Ignorance, overconfidence. And what was the other one, the second level?
A medium level is lack of control, and the lowest degree is distraction.
Distraction. And because anyone can be distracted, and everyone can have impulses, but the ignorant and the overconfident, we know those guys. I can do it. I know I can. Watch out. Hold my beer, as they say. Well, we've reached
the end of our
We've reached the end of our hour, but it's been a great hour.
It's been very interesting. So I'm Margaret.
And I'm Michael.
And thank you for listening.